It was 1985. A street brawl would bring the city to its boiling point. A white cop, Thomas Riggs, killed by a black man, Saigon Penn.
He said he did it in self-defense.
Penn would be acquitted, arguing he feared for his life. The scars remain, even today, but it did lead to change.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Frazee.
The creation of the 23-member Citizens Review Board, which has one important job.
To review serious allegations against San Diego police officers.
The board is the public's watchdog, reviewing police internal affairs reports which are kept confidential and hearing citizens' complaints which are public.
It was really the actions of the San Diego Police Department that got me to come out.
We wanted to see the Citizens Review Board in action, so we came to their meeting tonight where these folks are asking them to sanction police officers. It's something we found they have done fewer and fewer times over the past 8 years. Using the board's data on its website, we found that in 2001, the board reviewed 133 allegations against officers. Move forward to 2009, which is the latest information posted, the cases of reviews dives to 46 cases, 133 to 46.
I'm saying the board struggles for legitimacy.
Jude Litzenberger was on the board. She is an attorney with a 21-year career in the Navy. She does not mince words about the Citizens Review Board.
That was very unfair to the citizens and sometimes unfair to the officers.
She says by and large, San Diego police officers are first rate, but there are bad cops, as anyone watching the news lately can attest to.
I think there's a lot of opportunities for officers who are given a lot of authority to abuse that authority if they start going wrong.
Litzenberger sat on the board for more than 2 years after training for the unpaid position for a year and a half. But according to multiple sources, she asked too many questions.
It's not impartial. It's a very biased board, and you have people clearly running. They have their own agendas, and they're clearly running it the way they want.
Sandra Kobit was in training for the board and observed many of the same things Litzenberger told us about. She does not want her face shown, but she does want you to know she is married to a retired police officer.
I've seen several citizens ignored.
Just simply because the board is biased towards the police?
Right.
2 current board members, both additional sources for this story, agree with Kobit and Litzenberger. They say the board is controlled by a clique, that it is too white, and most of the board members are picked because they have a pro-police mentality. The system, they say, is broken.
They are in fear of the police department arresting them.
Citizens don't get a fair shake, we're told, in part because the city attorney's office provides the legal guidance for the board. It's a conflict because the city attorney's office also has to defend the city when a cop gets sued.
So they would tell you how you should vote?
No, not directly. What they would do is interpret the rules in a way that it was clear to you you could only vote one way.
Jude Litzenberger knows the law too. When she began asking too many questions, she was warned to leave the lawyering to the city attorney. And when the time came for her reappointment, something usually rubber-stamped by the mayor's office, she was not asked back. It's the first time that's ever happened.
The people's check of the police department doesn't work.
Correct. It's not working. There is no check.
A 10 News investigation revealed questionable practices inside the Citizens Board that's supposed to watch over the San Diego Police Department.
And tonight, 10 News has learned the San Diego grand jury is now getting involved. I-Team reporter Mitch Blocker has the serious questions about police oversight being raised.
They're sent into dangerous situations. They didn't seek out those situations. They're there for us.
Cal Western professor Justin Brooks acknowledges police work is dangerous. So does Christian Ramirez of American Friends Service, a nonprofit advocating for minorities. But both also agree there are serious policing issues in San Diego.
Members of our community who are victims of crime or witness crime are even afraid to come forward and to the police.
They both spoke to 10 News following our investigation into the Citizens Review Board, which reviews police actions. The board's own members, both past and present, have told us while well-meaning, it is ineffective and biased.
Some of these officers appear to have a feeling of immunity about being held accountable.
We're told even good cops can get a bad rap from the board if they get on the wrong side of certain police managers.
think the Citizens Review Board is unfair to officers?
It's unfair to both. It's unfair to officers, and it's unfair to the citizens.
The allegations are the board leadership is a good old boys club, siding with police management when it comes to cases involving citizens or cops on the streets.
It's absolutely critical that we review the process and make sure that those decisions are being made in an unbiased fashion.
Ramirez says the minorities he comes in contact with don't trust the board and haven't for some time.
We have experience with them. We know, unfortunately, that it doesn't, it has always acted as a rubber stamp for the police department.
Now, what we don't know is what direction the grand jury is going to take as it investigates San Diego police oversight. We are told it will depend on the complexity of the case, and of course we will report what happens when it happens.
So does anyone have a say on how the board conducts its business?
Yes, there is a national organization that oversees police oversight organizations, and they have their own code of ethics, which they expect their member organizations to follow.
True.
Yeah, well, that would make sense. Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch.
It's very easy to slide into abuse.
Jude Litzenberger knew the board had problems. She was once a member. She and other former and current Citizen Review Board members told 10 News the board was a toothless watchdog, ineffective and biased.
The power of the government can be tremendous, and the power of the people to curb that and to keep that in check is important.
The board was supposed to provide oversight of the San Diego Police Department by reviewing the agency's internal affairs investigations of both cops and citizens.
It's not just for the citizens, but it's also for the police officers.
The grand jury found, as the I-Team reported, serious problems caused by the Internal Affairs Department having too much control over the review board. IA personnel would attend closed sessions, inhibiting the board from making independent decisions.
The information that we put in our report was given to us by more than one person. Almost everybody that we interviewed told us the same things.
It was run like a good old boys club, with longtime city attorneys being heavy-handed enforcers.
Basically, there was a party line.
If you wavered from that line, you were harassed, bullied.
The lack of decorum creates an atmosphere of fear and intimidation among some board members and prospective board members.
That poisoned environment would force minorities to bail from the board, as well as white prospects. Candidates were handpicked by the board.
One white who was appointed and then resigned, one Hispanic who resigned after being selected.
The grand jury suggests the mayor's office should immediately tell the chief of police to have internal affairs stop interfering with the board's work.
It was fireworks time at the Citizens Review Board, the public's watchdog over the San Diego Police Department.
And only 10 News cameras were there when a board member accused others of intimidation in reviews of police conduct. I-Team reporter Mitch Blocker has the fireworks.
We have to acknowledge that these issues exist, and we have to do something to change them.
Current board member Lucy Pearson shocked everyone, complaining publicly about the bullying and the city attorney's legal advisor not being impartial.
That entire time, she has never given us a legal opinion that has come down on the side of the citizen.
Others at the meeting were critical too.
And I am concerned that there is a potential for this board to receive tainted information.
This speaker is an attorney. He's convinced internal affairs reports to the board are weighted in favor of the cops, and this is all kept secret.
They can also purposely hold back information from this board that you will never see.
Our original stories were followed by a critical grand jury report saying the board is failing in its mission as the public's watchdog of the San Diego Police Department.
I think that the review board is really a joke.
John Warren is the publisher and editor of Voice and Viewpoint, which provides an African-American perspective in San Diego.
There's no excuse for it.
He was hopeful our stories would bring change, but discouraged that it's business as usual.
I think that this is a very pivotal time. I'm concerned that the public is not responding the way it should be responding to this issue.
As we first reported, there are concerns over the lack of minorities on the board, concerns about officers from SDPD Internal Affairs sitting in on private board meetings during confidential discussions of police behavior. And there are accusations that board members who question any of this are bullied.
If I even mentioned that there was going to be some consideration of the complainant, there was a chorus of objection.
This is not the awful board
that Channel 10 described.
At a board meeting in Tierra Santa, we were criticized for our reporting.
It's easy to cast stones.
The grand jury was criticized for finding the board susceptible to influence by police internal affairs.
I think it's unfair to levy unsubstantiated claims at internal affairs.
All of those points that I read the grand jury report that were made are true.
Board member candidates are often chosen by the current board members. Their training includes spending time with police officers. Critics say it's created a pro-cop board, but most board members say internal affairs holds no special sway. That includes the outgoing president.
Internal affairs is there at every meeting, both open and closed meetings.
Did they influence those meetings in any way?
Not that I've seen.
Have you ever felt that internal affairs has colored an investigation to get an outcome that it wants from you?
I have never seen anything. I've never seen a blatant attempt by internal affairs.
Deputy Chief David Ramirez also thinks 10 News and the grand jury got it wrong.
I don't agree with some of the comments, specifically that internal affairs has been bullying CRB members. I don't believe that to be true.
During the meeting, we got a copy of a survey given to the board.
We issued, as you all know, the anonymous survey.
Proof, we're told, that internal affairs has no undue influence.
I have never been intimidated.
We owe a good amount of respect to the level of work and hard work that they do.
It's not a surprise, say critics, that a pro-police review board would respond this way.
It's not carrying out what its mission is supposed to be.
I think a community has to have trust in their police department, and I think it's important for the community to be able to trust this board.
That was Mitch Blocker reporting, and we are told that Mayor Jerry Sanders' office says it is near decision time for the Citizens Review Board. It is his responsibility to respond to the grand jury's list of concerns. The city attorney's representative on the board has been replaced, but the other issues remain.